crafters, welcome back to my channel, Choose Joy with Carmen. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you the card that I created for Craft Roulette episode number 202. And this is going to be my 94th process video and card submission. So my goal is to hit 100, so I'm getting very, very close. So the project had to be 5x7, a 5x7 card, colors, formal and informal, element, warm or warms, and random crisscross. So let's set this aside so that I can pull in my card and we can talk about how I met the parameters this week. So here is my card, and I am not a big fan of 5x7 cards, but I kind of was forced to make one this week because of the project parameter, but I really am happy with the way it turned out. So, colors, formal and informal. So I went with black and white for formal, and I pulled in this paper here, and I'm using this design, but this is called True Love Designer Series paper, and it's retired. So I pulled in that for my black and white, and then I also have a little bit of black matte behind my white here. And I wanted, that since the area is so big, I just felt like when I was putting it together that white behind there was just too white for me. So I brought in my stitched greenery. I love this. This is so cool when you just want to add a little something, and that's exactly what I did, because I just felt like there was so much white going on and I wanted a little something. So I did that on that panel right there. And the stamp set I am using is the Celebrate Sunflowers, and I also using the sentiment in that one as well. And then when it came to the element warm, well, it has the word sun in sunflowers, and the sun is what warms us up. So that is where my warmth is coming from. Plus, I remember on the show they were talking about, well, what warms your heart? Well, sunflowers do warm my heart. I love them. And plus, I love when they're blooming in the summer when it's really warm outside, because I seem to be always cold, and so I'm not a big winter fan, but so I love when the sunflowers are out because I know it's very warm outside. So there's my element parameter, and then random crisscross. So I pulled in these dies that I had that have these X's in them. And so that's a crisscross to me. And so that's what I used on my circle there for my sentiment. So I have my little crisscrosses there. And it was funny when I went to go, I got to finally use my new Brother Scan and Cut machine. And what I did was I just stamped a bunch of sunflowers and ran over and did that, and it cut it out beautifully. I am so happy that I got that. But when I came to coloring it, I always forget, what colors do I want to use? So I did something different this time. Because it took me like 3 tries to figure out how I wanted my sunflowers to look color-wise. So once I came up with the design, the colors that I liked, I decided to write them on the back of the Stampin' Blends that I chose to use to get this look. And so that way I can look at this and say, okay, well, these are the colors that I used. So I'm going to keep this little sunflower as a cheat sheet for me. And then So once I did all that, the colors that I did use, if you want to know, so all the light Stampin' Blends were Mango Melody, which is no longer available, Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green, and Pecan Pie. Those were all the lights that I used, and then the darks were the Granny Apple Green and the Pecan Pie. So I really like the Mango Melody along with the Daffodil Delight. I just really like that better than the dark and light Daffodil Delight. And then, of course, I use the dark and the light Pecan Pie for the center, and then the dark and the light Granny Apple Green for my leaves, because I didn't want my leaves to be really, really dark. So that's what I did there. And then I did some sponging around my crisscross circle sentiment there with the Daffodil Delight, and did all my stamping with the Memento Tuxedo Black on my sunflowers. And then what I did was I just added some of that paper again on the inside, and it could be wider because it's such a bigger card. And then it says, "Let's celebrate you." Now, in the past, I've always liked to highlight, and that's why I like to stamp with the Memento Tuxedo Black. So if I really wanted to add a little more color, I could bring in my Daffodil Delight and say, "Let's celebrate," and I could just highlight you. And then that way it doesn't smear, and it just kind of highlights who we're celebrating. So there we go. There's my 94th card for Craft Roulette. And it's funny because the guest this week was Crafty Owl, and you know, I'm on a couple of her collaboration teams, and it was actually her that got me hooked on Craft Roulette, because when I started, I remember she said, "Oh, Danny's gonna be on Craft Roulette this week, so go over and watch her." Well, that's what I did, and then there we go. I started and I haven't stopped since. But I think once I hit 100, I'm going to slow down a little because I'm doing some other things on my channel and I just can't put a lot of things on my plate. So, but I've been having a great time, and I will probably still be submitting cards unless, you know, my schedule gets really busy, but at least I won't feel like I'm aiming for a certain goal like of 100. After that, I'm like, okay, I hit that goal and I'm happy with that. And then anything after that is just going to be fun, right? Not that this hasn't been fun, but there's always that little tension when you're trying to meet a goal. So anyway, there we go. There's my card for this week. And I hope you enjoyed my card and this video. And if you did, you know what I would love. A thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. Okay, well, until my next video, which is probably going to be tomorrow, since I've started a new series with memory decks cards during Lent and praying the promises of the cross. So hopefully I will be on again tomorrow. So until then, remember, choose joy, and may God bless you all. Bye-bye.